Hey, welcome to Making Meals with Mika. Now, before we start, please subscribe and like to my page, okay? Go ahead, do it. Go ahead, click subscribe. Go ahead, click like on this video. So, I am so excited today. I even brought out my good red wig for this one. I am sharing my famous, yes it is famous, macaroni and cheese recipe. Now, listen, during the holidays, at least in my family, everyone, they're tasked with bringing a dish. Everybody knows who's going to bring what. I am the macaroni and cheese designee. It's no questions, no answers. We don't have to say who's bringing macaroni and cheese. Everybody knows that Mika's bringing the macaroni and cheese. Everyone loves this recipe. So I'm going to share with you my famous macaroni and cheese recipe. Now I'm just giving you how I make it. If you want to make this your own, that's totally fine. I'm also going to give you a vegetarian version of it if you want to make it the vegetarian way. Now, this is very, very creamy. It's very indulgent. I don't eat like this all the time, but when I make macaroni and cheese and when I eat macaroni and cheese, I want it to be delicious. I want it to be ooey, gooey, rich. Just like when you take a spoonful, you know that your heart rate is sped up a little bit because it's a little bit too delicious. So I'm going to put everything in here, show you how I make this. Feel free to make this your own. So you're going to start with some elbow macaroni. You need Velveeta cheese. You're going to need some American cheese. Okay. We're going to use butter and we are going to use cream of chicken. Now, in order to make this vegetarian, all you have to do is swipe out the cream of chicken for some cream of mushroom. All right. We're also going to use grated sharp cheddar cheese. Now, I say this over and over again. I grate my own cheese. I go to the store, I get the block of cheese and I grate it. It's important to grade your own cheese because if you use the already shredded cheese, I know it's more convenient, but it has like a wax or a film outside of the shreds to keep them from melting together. So if you want your cheese to have your macaroni and cheese to have the ultimate flavor, do not use shredded cheese. Just go ahead and shred your own. It takes, I don't know, what, 2-3 minutes? It's worth it. So shred your own sharp cheddar cheese, fresh garlic, okay? Pepper, got some salt, a little bit of bouillon, and some milk. So I am going to show you step by step how to make my famous mac and cheese. I hope your family loves it as much as my family loves it. Let's get ready to make this meal with Mika. Now the first thing you're going to do is bring your water to a boil, and I am going to cook the pasta as directed on the label. Okay, I'm going to cook it as directed. Now typically when I'm making regular pasta, I put salt in my water. That's what you're supposed to do. That's how you're going to season your pasta. But for this, for mac and cheese, I just put a couple of teaspoons of bouillon in my water. Ha ha. Ha ha. That's adding that flavor. I sneaked it in there. So put the bouillon in the water. And then I'm only making this for my husband and I, but the recipe on the video is gonna feed 8 people. So I'm reducing the amount that I'm cooking today because it's just 2 people. But if you follow my recipe while you're doing these steps, it will be enough for 8 people. So my pasta's added. I'm gonna cook this to al dente. Al dente means it's not mushy. It has some bite to it. While the pasta's cooking, let's get started on the magic cheese sauce. As the noodles are cooking, we're going to make our cheese sauce, the star of the mac and cheese. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of butter into this pan. Now the key to really good mac and cheese is that it's very flavorful. So a tablespoon of butter into this pan, and I'm gonna add my chopped garlic. Yep, I said it, chopped garlic. And the garlic is going to add layers of flavor to your mac and cheese, okay? It smells delicious already. I'm not joking. Just butter and garlic. Ooh, my goodness. And then make sure your heat is on medium because you want this to be, you don't want to burn your garlic. All right. Now, after that has been in the pot for about 30 seconds, I am going to add my cubed Velveeta. Okay. Now follow the recipe for the amount that you add. I'm going now, like I said, I'm only cooking this for my husband and I, so it's not going to be as much as in the recipe that I'm providing in the comments. You add the Velveeta and you want to add just enough milk to cover it, to cover the Velveeta. So you're going to add about a half a cup of milk. And then you're going to add all that beautifully hand shredded cheese, okay? Hand shredded cheese. We do not use already shredded cheese. We don't use it. Not for our mac and cheese. You know, it might be good for tacos or good for, you know, a quick salad. But when you want something that tastes delicious, I need you to shred your own cheese. Now, I need to add a little bit of more milk. A little bit more milk. So this can be the consistency that I want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to watch this, stirring occasionally until all my cheese is melted in here. It's important to continue to stir and check on your cheese sauce because it can stick to the bottom of your pot and it can also burn. Now, once your cheese sauce has gotten to this consistency, and this is the consistency that you want, kind of like if you were to pour this over nachos. It looks like the nacho cheese sauce, right? Once your Velveeta and your hand shredded cheddar have melted, then you're going to add your American cheese. Now, I always add this last because it melts a lot quicker than the Velveeta and the cheddar. And you're going to stir this until it's all evenly melted. And then we're going to add it to our pasta. This already looks delicious. Ooh, looks good. The noodles are done. The cheese sauce is done. Let me show you how I put together my mac and cheese, all right? So the pasta is nice and hot. Ooh, one fell, let me see. Perfect texture. Now, what makes mac and cheese or any food delicious is flavoring. So I season my pasta, all right? First, I'm gonna put a couple of tablespoons of butter. I know you're like, oh my goodness. Yep, I know. Butter makes everything delicious. So, and we're putting this directly on the pasta. All right. We're also going to put a little sea salt. Now, because cheese is naturally salty, you don't want to over salt your pasta. All right. So some sea salt or regular salt. You don't have to use sea salt. But don't use seasoning salt or anything like that. No, you want to keep your flavors nice and simple, but delicious. And then black pepper. Yes, black pepper. Ooh, yep. So a couple of sprinkles of that. Now, everything in here is already cooked. So if you want to see if the seasoning is on point, just get a spoon. Let me get a spoon, excuse me. You can get a spoon to sample it. But I keep dropping them. I'm gonna eat it. My counter's clean. Now, Now this could use a little more salt, but I'm not gonna put more salt in there because I have to add my cheese. And I keep dropping them, but I'm gonna eat it because it's delicious. All right, so next, our cream of chicken. You know what? So when you reheat your macaroni and cheese the next day, you still want it to be nice and creamy. You don't want it to be all dried out, greasy. This is what keeps your mac and cheese nice and creamy, okay? This cream of chicken adds that extra level of creaminess. So you're gonna put this directly on the noodles. Make sure everything's all incorporated. It's okay if you spill it. Now, mind you, the recipe that I shared is going to make a big Pyrex pan or a big pan, a big baking, a big pan this size. But because it's just my husband and I eating this, I don't want to make too much macaroni. I don't want to make too much macaroni. So after your soup is all incorporated, make sure it touched every single noodle. Every noodle gets the same treatment. And make sure all of it is fully incorporated. And this is bothering me. Yeah, I know. I have like a little OCD, so the fact that that's on there is bothering me. Okay, so we have that that's all incorporated. Our cheese sauce has just been marinating on the stove. And see, this is the consistency that you want. And it's okay if there's a little lumps in there because all the cheese is going to melt, but you want it to look like you can pour this over nachos, okay? Get all that off. All right, so, and then you just go, ooh, look at that. You can't tell me that don't look delicious. And you're just going to slowly incorporate your cheese sauce. Now, if you notice, I'm not putting any eggs in my mac and cheese. That's just my preference. I don't want anybody flipping out like, eggs, how could you not put eggs? My grandmama used eggs for 30 years. I am not knocking your grandma's recipe. My mom used to put eggs in her mac and cheese. I don't like eggs in my mac and cheese because of the texture. To me, it makes it a little more stiff. And I don't like my mac and cheese to be stiff. I want it to be spoonable, and when I put my spoon in there, the cheese oozes out. So look at that. Look at that. And the smell is quite divine right now. So look, I still got some cheese sauce left. I'm not gonna put it in here. I don't wanna waste it, so I'll probably save it for something else. So this is how your mac and cheese should look. Look at that. You can technically eat this right now if you wanted to. You technically could because everything in here is done, but we're not. We're gonna bake it and make it more delicious. Now, here comes one of the secrets to my mac and cheese, okay? I'm gonna put that over here. Now, I like when you spoon into the mac and cheese that like some cheese flows out like a lava effect. So what I do is, I take about 3 or 4 slices of that American cheese and I just dip it on in there, okay? I just push them in. Just push them in. Break it, push it down. Make sure your hands are clean. Now, I did eat those couple of noodles off the counter, but I just, I didn't put my fingers all in my mouth because that would not be good. Now, I just take these and I just dump them. I just push them down randomly throughout my mac and cheese. I'm telling y'all, these are like little pockets of gold. When you spoon into this mac and cheese and then that American cheese flows out, you're like, what? I'm telling you, it's great. And there's no rhyme or reason where to put them. Just go ahead, hide these, just tuck them all the way down in there. And once your mac and cheese is done, I'm telling you, these they flow, kind of like a lava cake. You have the center hidden inside. That's what this does. And I do this to my mac and cheese. It adds that little extra, ooh, a wow factor. Now, another key is, and then just smooth that out. You don't want people to know it's hidden in there. You hide it, smooth it out. They don't know that the hidden pockets of cheese is in there. Now, if you want to, You can top this with some additional shredded cheese. I don't do that because the cheese on top typically gets darker a lot faster. But you know, add as much or as little cheese as you want. Like I said, make it your own, but this is my recipe. And this is exactly how I do it. So now I'm gonna put this in the oven, and this is gonna cook for about 20 minutes. You don't wanna overbake it. You don't wanna cook it where it's dry, because the purpose of adding all this creamy goodness is so your mac and cheese won't be dry. So I'm gonna put this in the oven for about 20 minutes. We're gonna come back and we're gonna taste it. You're gonna see how creamy and delicious this is, okay? Okay. The mac and cheese is out of the oven. Let me lift this up to show you. This is what you want it to look like, okay? It's nice and brown and bubbly. I'm gonna cut into this so you can see. Now, you guys, mac and cheese should be simple. It's not like you gotta mix a lot of stuff together, have 11 cheeses. Macaroni should be nice, simple, creamy, just indulging and delicious. So, woo! And this is what you want your inside to look like. Y'all see that? You see that? Just nice and spoonable. The top is crisp. There's no egginess, so it's nice and creamy. It's not firm. That's smoke. You see the pockets of the American cheese that we snuck in there. And this is not my look. When I spoon into some mac and cheese, this is what I want. This is what I want. Let me try this. Excuse me, it's fire. It's fire. It's delicious. You taste the fresh garlic. You taste the creaminess of the Velveeta. You taste the sharpness of the sharp cheddar cheese. It is absolutely, positively delicious. So I hope that you make this recipe for your family. It goes great with some Jiffy dressing. You can check that video out that I did a couple days ago. But please let me know what you think about this recipe. Thank you for joining me and making this meal with Mika. I'll talk to y'all later.